Hey everybody, this is Joel over at ImportSauce.com, and today we are going to be talking about clutch spring replacement for Volvo P1, C30, V50, S40, C70. Stick around and we'll show you what you need to know. Okay everybody, I wanted to give you a close-up of the clutch pedal and also of the parts that we are swapping, the springs on this clutch pedal. So obviously this isn't in the vehicle. We're getting ready for the 6-speed swap, so this is out, already been ready to get serviced and then go in. So if you were attempting this while the pedal is still in the car, it's going to be a lot more difficult, but at least you get an idea of what is going to have to be done, because these are very tricky. I've bought one set, I've broken one set, I broke the original one, and finally I figured out the trick, so hopefully I can share that with you. So starting off, this is for a P1 Volvo. This is going in the 06 S40, but it should be the same parts for the C30, the C70, the V50. And here's what we originally bought, was the part number 31200941. What we realized is the spring was a lot longer than the one that was on the actual pedal. If you can see that, in no way is that right, and that's what led us to believe that there must be something else. That's when we went, called the dealer, and it's really hard because they ask for your VIN number, and in this particular situation the VIN number is an automatic, so they don't have a specific one for it when they look it up. We went with 31200942, which is just one part number up. You can see the spring length is a lot different. The actual internal, spring assembly is the same, but if you're just replacing those, that's fine. But if you're doing both, you might as well do both. You want to go with that other one. So on the back here, we can see a good angle of just the spring. That's what I'm going to want to replace first. So what I'm going to do is just get some needle nose. I'm going to grab here and pull that off, and then get that guy out of the way. That's going to be your first step. So you want to be careful. This is plastic, and if you end up breaking or snapping that, the hook for the spring, you're probably going to have to buy or source this whole pedal assembly, because these are riveted on. So we're just going to grab, and this spring does have a lot of tension, but as you can see, we're able to get that off, and that matches our part number ending in 942. So we'll set that aside. Next, I have broken this one twice, the factory and the replacement one, figuring out how to get this to work, and I finally figured out the best way. So what we want is, you want the pedal to be fully closed, and it will lock into place, and on the back you can see that this is going to swivel back. And then what we're going to do from there is, we are going to take some needle nose, because we want to apply pressure on both sides, and we are going to push it down and forward to release it. There's a little locking ball where it locks into, and this is a little difficult because there's a lot of pressure on that spring. So what I'm going to do is put it downwards so that the pedal stays locked up. I'm going to apply pressure on this hinge so that this doesn't move, and then we are going to go on both sides of the top of the spring. It actually has a little bowl seat that it sits into, and where that ball is. So we're going to take that, and this is a lot more pressure than the first spring, and we're going to try to pry it back and kind of push it down out of the way, which you're probably getting a terrible angle, but there we go. So actually I just used the bottom here, which is a whole solid plastic, as the pry point, went in, pried up, and then this guy snaps out. So that's fine. Putting it back in though is going to be pretty much similar, but it is tricky. So hopefully we can get through this without breaking it. But what I found in practicing is, same thing, you want this fully depressed. And now we have no tension from any spring, so you're actually gonna have to hold it. Gonna slide in and get this guy into place. You may have to open it to actually get it initially slid, but when it comes, you want this bowl to be behind that ball. And that's gonna be the easiest way to get it in. So I'm gonna open it up a little, and then once it's in, I'm gonna stick my thumb around the back, stick my finger in through the front so that I have both sides. I'm gonna get it in past, and then I can swivel it to get those into place. It's a little tricky. So we got one side in there. The other side is just a notch, so we'll just kind of swivel it and get it in. Okay. And perfect. So hopefully you can see we have one notch there. The other one is there. Now, you want to push that all the way back to the ball, right? Because the next thing is we're just going to go reverse order. We're going to try to ply with needle nose and get this ball to seat inside of that bowl. Get some of this grease off. And same thing, I'm going to go, and now we're prying. Let's see, maybe we're gonna flip it around so that we can pry off of the biggest part of the plastic. And let me flip it to see, hopefully you can get an angle. Looks like we slid out of our notches there. Let's make sure everybody's back in. And gonna get it as close, and you can see how tricky this is. If you were trying to do it with this on the vehicle, I wish you luck. Okay, so we got that. See if you can get a side angle. Pry up and on. Beautiful. So now we can see that that is seated. Our notches are good. And now we can see it's two phases. We have 1, 2. Open, closed. Next, we're going to take that new spring. And same thing. What we're going to want to do first is hook into the actual frame there. And then that's going to leave us dangling. And then here, same thing, we're going to grab and we're going to pull up and around. And this is a brand new spring, so we don't have any wear or play like we did on the other one. It would be nice with an extra set of hands, somebody to brace this. But we'll do what we can. I did it once off camera as a practice, but it is tricky. So let's just